Hey guys, how you doing today? Brandon here. So I just kind of wanted to talk about a few upcoming games that I personally think that you guys should keep an eye on or check out because I think they're going to be just freaking awesome hockey games. Today's March 6, 2017. I'm going to give you my top 4 games that I think that you guys should check out. Number 4, I have Nashville versus Dallas. So these teams met up back on February 12th, and honestly, it was a pretty freaking crazy match. In the first 45 seconds, there were 4 Nashville penalties and 2 Dallas penalties, just in the first 45 seconds. By the end of the first period, there were 8 Nashville penalties and 6 Dallas penalties. There were 20 penalties total in the game. 2/3 of the game were played on the power play. Like, holy crap. There was a lot of rough stuff in this game. There was a lot of fighting, there was a lot of chippiness, and there was even a lot of goals scored. Okay, Dallas came out to a 3-0 head start. They took a commanding lead in the first period. Nashville would power back with 5 unanswered goals and end up winning. So there were a total of 8 goals scored in this game. Personally, this just looks like a fun matchup. I think the next time these two teams are going to come out, it's just going to be a fun game to watch. I think it's going to be chippy again, and it all depends too. If Dallas is getting closer to a playoff spot, which they haven't been able to figure themselves out quite yet this year, if they do keep winning games, this could be an even better game. Right? If just a few more wins is going to get them into the playoff spot, they're going to play that much harder. Plus, they obviously want to avenge this loss. So I just look for this one to be a fun one. And you can catch that one April 6th. Okay, so the third game that I have on my list is Chicago versus Pittsburgh. These two teams just met up a few days ago on March 1st. Now, I ended up watching that game and doing a play-by-play, so you can actually check that out. But that game was totally awesome. It was really a good back and forth hockey game between those two clubs. Chicago, pretty much for the most part, ended up imposing their will on the Penguins. I remember they had the puck in the Penguin zone for most of the game, and they ended up winning 4-1. Now the Pens didn't go down without a fight. They played really well too. To be fair though, they were coming off a 3-2 loss to Dallas, I believe. And they were playing back-to-back. So they were going to be a little bit more tired, a little bit more worn out. Still, again, it was a very good game. And that game was played in Chicago. So their rematch is now going to be in Pittsburgh. So I look for the Pens to come out even harder in this one. And obviously, Chicago's not going to lay down for anybody. So again, I think this one is going to be a really fun one to watch. Okay, so my number 2 game on my list, right now anyway, is Columbus versus Pittsburgh. It's another Pittsburgh game. Man, I love it when these teams hook up because they freaking hate each other. It's so awesome to watch. Now, if we look at the East Metropolitan Division, we can see that both of these two teams are just killing it. So you have the Blue Jackets in second, just under the Capitals with 88 points, and you have the Pittsburgh Penguins right under them, but tied with 88 as well. So again, these teams are just killing it right now, and every time they lock up, it's usually fireworks. There's some chippiness, there's some fighting, there's some roughness, and obviously there's lots of goals being scored. Okay, so I look for that one to be a really fun one as well. And you can catch Columbus versus Pittsburgh on April 4th. Lastly, my number 1 game to watch coming up, drum roll, Chicago versus Minnesota. Man, these teams are awesome to watch playing each other. Number 1, both of these two teams are ripping it up in their division. If we take a look at the West Central, we have the Wild with 90 points and Chicago right below them with 89. These two teams are huge division rivals. I love it. If you haven't seen my last play-by-play with Chicago versus Minnesota, go check it out. But I talk about how over the last few years, these teams have their rivalry has really started to heat up. And even this year alone, as I've been watching them, it's really started to pick up. And it adds to it, it adds fuel to the fire when these teams are doing so well. I truly believe it's going to come down to either Chicago and Minnesota in a playoff match, and the winner of that is going to go on to fight for the cup, if not win the cup outright. So Chicago won the last 2 games, but I see Minnesota coming out really hard, especially now that the playoffs are in sight, and you can catch that one March 12th. So it's coming up real quick. And if you miss out on any of these games, don't worry guys, I will be doing the play-by-plays for all of these, okay? If I work at night, I record the game and then I do the play-by-play. I'm having so much fun doing this. I really hope that you guys are being entertained by this. And if you have any questions at all, please email me or write it on the comments and I will try and answer your hockey questions, okay? And if I don't know what it is, I will research it and I will figure it out because I want to know as well. Hey guys, so those are my 4 games to look out for. Check them out or check out my play-by-plays. Thanks for tuning in guys. I'll see you on the next one. Chicago. April 6th. Oh, I didn't tell you any reason why. Okay, so the number for the playoff